going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I had a completely different video planned for today, but sadly, I have to go ahead and push it back because we just got some hot new information about the future of XDefiant. I believe the next upcoming update, and I can't lie to you guys, this might be one of the first times I'm actually kind of really worried about the update that's going to be dropping for this overall community. But again, if you guys are interested in the video that I had planned previously, that will be posted tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. We post every single day here. And if you guys want to check out any of my live streams, I will be live today between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time as well, with a little mix of XDefiant and Splitgate. If you guys are interested, make sure you guys go ahead and tune into the stream. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. All right, so to go ahead and start off here, this isn't the major issue that I'm having. This is for rank. This is what you should be expecting coming up. Faction skill limit, no RP loss in bronze, and faster RP progress. Now, the RP stuff, that's great and all, but the biggest factor here is obviously faction skill limit. Now, again, you got to keep in mind, it's not going to be an overall faction limit where you can only have one faction per team, but it's going to be a skill limit. So you can only have 2 of the same faction. So you can't have 4 phantoms anymore. You can only have 2 phantoms, and one of those phantoms has to run something different. They have to have a mag barrier and, the portable shield. Nothing else. You can't have 2 mag barriers, or, you can't have, as a medic, 2 of the med boxes. You have to split the faction limit. So that's going to be absolutely huge for the ranked scene. And it's tempting me to hop back into the experience, although I still want to wait a little bit more for some, more upgrades to ranked. But this right here was a big one, and I'm happy to see that that's going to be implemented soon. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, that's not the biggest thing of this video. Today's video is mostly revolved around the movement. Now, I'll be real with you guys. I'm always willing to find a middle ground when it comes to the movement within these games. And the developers even said that they might go ahead and test out, obviously the aim sway kicking in after around about, 2 hops or something like that, since it's 3 hops now, and the 4th hop is going to be the one that kind of screws you over. They were only going to reduce it by 1 and test it out, which I was perfectly fine with, because again, it allows you to chain combinations a little bit skillfully, if that makes any sense, a little bit more skillfully, because before you can kind of just spam it. If we're going to be honest here, you can spam it quite a bit without having to, have the penalty kick in. But reducing it by 1 will still allow you to have the skill gap of, being able to, B-hop, air strafe, get some crouches in, make yourself a harder target without it being just an absolute spammy maneuver and, anybody could just pick it up and just spam it around every 5 seconds. But they went ahead and nerfed it a lot more than I expected, as you could see right here. Bunny hop / crouch spamming. Nerfed air strafing. Reduced jump crouch animation transition speeds. Spam penalty adds max sway at 4th input now instead of 5th. And jump height and landing speed reductions capped after 3 jumps. They slapped everything. Absolutely everything. This is way more than I expected. Now, I do want to reserve judgment until I can actually try it, because these developers have surprised me again and again, whereas people, are thinking that these nerfs are going to be the end of the world and they end up not being that bad. Like, for example, the first movement nerf they had, where everybody thought the movement was done for. No, it wasn't too shabby. And again, I reserved judgment for that one, and I'm glad I did. It's just this one seems a little bit more vicious, but I'm going to try to reserve judgment completely until I can try it. But I'm just sad to see that they're hitting so many different things, like the air strafing, for example. I never really found air strafing to be too big of an issue. It's very hard to actually do successfully. And for the people who do pull it off successfully, it just adds another level of, skill gap to the game, which I find very entertaining, It's very easy to dictate where someone's going to be jumping back and forth, but when you air strafe, it kind of, makes you think a little bit more. It throws another piece into the puzzle that you have to anticipate when you're engaging with enemies, and I like that. I did. And again, it really differentiated a lower skilled player from someone who actually put in a little bit more effort into the game. And then obviously reducing the jump crouch animation transition speeds. Honestly, I feel like this could be a good addition here when it comes to the jump spam and crouch spam, because that's one of the biggest problems here. It's not the fact that you could do it a lot. It's more so the fact of how quickly you can do it and how, goofy it looks when you spam it out. So that hopefully will add a little bit more flow into the transition of, you know, a jump or a crouch. Instead of seeing people just spam it, you know, time and time again, they actually have to time it out a bit more to have it be clean and smooth. I'm not too salty with that one. That's fine. The spam penalty adds max sway at 4th input now instead of 5th. That's already, you know, we already knew that was going to happen. Like I just said before I mentioned all these other things, they were already planning on reducing it by 1. So that was already to be expected. And then the jump height and landing speed reduction capped after 3 jumps. Not shabby, because again, after 2 jumps, realistically, you know, you don't want to go ahead and be in that gunfight anymore. And if you're still in that gunfight, you know, at that point, it just comes down to who's going to aim better. You know, no amount of jumping is really going to help you after the 3 jump point. And pairing this nerf with obviously the max sway nerf, where obviously the max sway kicks in with 1 less hop, you know, I guess it's not as bad as it seems. But again, it seems like they're really coming for it. You know, this is a pretty hefty nerf when it comes to just the general movement of the game. And I hope it doesn't mess with the momentum of the game as well, where it's going to start feeling a bit more clunky if you're trying to gain some momentum and get some movement going along within XDefiant. And including the nerf to the air strafing, I'm a tad bit worried to see what they're actually planning on doing here. Is this going to be a nerf to the overall air strafing if you jump off of a platform, or they're going to try to, you know, cut your air strafing off when it's just basically you hopping left to right? You know, depending on how strict of a nerf it is, it might not be too bad depending on what they do, but still, I gotta be honest, this is going to be a huge point for XDefiant, because the movement in this game is literally what really helps it shine tremendously and keeps it interesting for a lot of the hardcore XDefiant community base. You know what I'm saying? It helps it differentiate itself. And I know people say, oh, that's so cringe, it's so stupid. Whatever you say, man. You can complain as much as you want to complain, and you're still going to be complaining after this update as well, because guess what? You can still B-hop at least a good 2 to 3 times before it, you know, obviously gives you the penalty. And you can even chain a couple of crouches so your, you know, B-hop can regen, and then you can go right back to B-hopping again. It's not too complex, right? It's just going to be a little bit more of a thought process. You have to actually time out your moves. So for anybody who, you know, is still angry about it, you're going to still be angry about it. I can promise you that. But for the hardcore audience, the people who've been really sticking around with XDefiant, this is going to be a huge point for them, because I don't want them to destroy it too much for a lot of the community. And for me personally, I'll still play it, obviously. Even if they take B-hopping away completely, I enjoy the game enough that I can grind it out. But I can't deny the fact that the movement is what really helps this game shine. And I guess I just got to put my trust in the developers on this one. Like I said, I'm going to try not to judge it too early on. It worries me. It does. It worries me. But I'm not going to judge it too early on, because the developers have proven to me time and time again that they are good at, you know, managing the nerfs and the buffs within this game without going over the top. And I'm going to continue to, you know, believe that until they prove me otherwise. If this next upcoming update is too much, then, you know, you're going to hear from me. But if it's not, then you know, once again, they have proven me correct that they are trustworthy and they can keep putting in work. But only time will tell with this update here. But ladies and gentlemen, do me a massive favor and go down in the comment section and let me know what you guys think about this overall upcoming update here. Again, I feel like my community is going to be kind of split, because I know there's tons of people that come into my comment section who despise the air strafing. And this is going to be absolutely tremendous for them. They're going to probably be jumping with joy, but at the same time, there's a decent amount of people who love the movement that this game has to offer. They enjoy air strafing, they enjoy the current movement system, and they don't want to see any tweaks whatsoever. Personally, I still thought there was a little bit more wiggle room with the current movement system, you know, to allow it to be a bit better for casuals. And this is the step in the right direction, you know, it is, because from the looks of it and the sounds of it, it doesn't sound too bad. It sounds a little promising, and it sounds like, once again, it's going to be a little nice in between for people who don't care for movement and those who still want to have a bit of a challenge when it comes to movement. But still, I've been reading it all over on Reddit and Twitter. It seems like a lot of the community is a little salty, it seems. A little salty, while also the same people who hate movement are very happy. So I guess the Reddit people are really happy, and then, you know, on Twitter people are a little angry. I just want to know what you guys think down in the comment section. Do you think it's a good thing that we're getting another nerf here? Do you think it's a big nerf? Do you think it's a small nerf? Just fill me in on all the thoughts that you guys have about this overall topic here. But as always, if you guys enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And of course, if you guys are interested in any more of my content, I stream pretty much daily over on Twitch. You guys can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.